Yo, welcome back to another episode of Timmymon Duel Links. You guys don't know how good it is to be back, and back with a new deck from the new set. I'm so glad I can finally create some content for you. So I'm not dead. Make sure you spread this news. Timmymon is back. And before we get into the deck profile, check out our sponsors ygosingles.com. You can get beautiful TCG cards like these. Whoa, look, a playset of impermanences. Whatever you buy, use the discount code Timmymon to get 5% off all of your purchases. This helps me to continue to bring you YouTube content. Okay, let's get into this deck list. You know, Noble Knights, it was a kind of a good deck in the TCG when it first came out. And then after a while, it sort of died off and it wasn't so popular. But the key to the Noble Knight deck is definitely the Madro. Okay, so before, like, you know, when this deck got announced, I didn't think it would be that good because, you know, you require a lot of spell and trap zones to be able to have enough for defense and have enough to equip. So only having 3 zones, it means you can't have a huge monster with like 5 equip cards, but you can still I don't know, use your deck to spot remove stuff. So the key of this deck is to use Madrox to get out Dryston, and Dryston is your MVP. Its effect is when it's equipped with a Noble Knight equip card, it can just pop a monster on the field. So your goal is just to use these on Dryston, in your turn to remove their monster to attack, and in their turn to as like an interrupt. We play the 1 Spear Karibo. You know, at first I was playing 3 and then I dropped it down to 2 and now I dropped it down to 1. The reason I like Spear Karibo is because it's not a trap, so it's a monster. It's a hand trap, so you can play this from your hand, and it doesn't require spell and trap zone. And your spell and trap zones are quite limited. You only want to have defensive stuff, and like you only want to really have equip cards and like this OP defensive card. So I dropped it down to 1 because I felt like I could get away with playing the second Treacherous Trap Hole. Because after you resolve one of these, it's usually enough for game. We play the Double Cyclones. This also could be Wild Tornado, but Double Cyclone is really good to be able to pop your own equip cards to re-equip it to your Dryston or whatever, and sort of interrupt in their turn while getting advantage. So not only it pops their monster, it also pops their spell and trap. We have Glory of the Noble Knights. This card's busted. I've never seen this card until Duel Links. But what it says is you can target a Noble Knight monster, equip it with 1 equip spell from your deck, and you can only activate 1 per turn. The problem with this is, for you to activate it, you have to have 2 zones. 1 empty zone for the equipped card to go in, and 1 zone for this to activate and resolve. So this card is pretty busted. So you can use it in your turn against spot removal like Treacherous or Tremendous. Oh, what's that other card? Offerings to the Doomed. So you can use it against those cards to equip your monster in response with Noble Arm of Destiny. And Noble Arm of Destiny prevents your monster from dying once. Alternatively, you can use it in the battle phase to boost your guy's monster by 1,000. So you can use it as like a offensive tool or a defensive tool. So if they attack you and your guys reduced by a lot because of this equip card, you can activate it to boost it by 1,000, and they won't be prepared for that. You can also use it to protect your monster from dying by battle once. Yeah, so this card's probably one of the better cards in this deck. Noble Arms, I can't pronounce this card, but what it does is reduce a warrior's attack monster by warrior attack by 500 to pop a set card. So you can pop set monsters or set spell and traps, but if they chain it, it just stays. So the cool thing about this though is you can equip your opponent's warrior's monsters to reduce their monster by 500 to pop their spell and traps. And then you can attack over it with your Madrots and your Drystons, and yeah, it's pretty good against Amazons. It's probably good against heroes. And we play the 2 treacherous just because it's by far the best trap if you're playing a deck without traps. So I want to play 2 because I want to see this as much as I can, but I don't want to see more than 1. So I feel like 2 is the perfect number. So this is my Noble Knight deck. This is probably going to go through a lot of alterations throughout the time, but I do feel like if you like the new set, this is probably the best deck from the new set. It's a very powerful deck, and it's something that, you know, I would recommend you try out if you have access to it. I think it has a positive matchup against Sylvans, Amazons, maybe Heroes. The only bad matchup I think it has is against Spellbooks, because they can fate your monster and you'll eventually run out of monsters. So yeah, that comes to the weakness of this deck. The weakness is that it dies to single target removal. So like Offerings to the Doomed would ruin this deck. Treacherous Trap Holes, pretty much anything that Spellbook of Fate, anything that is like a single target removal, that's really strong against this deck. But regardless, I think this deck might be a good choice for the ladder. For the upcoming WCQ, maybe you should try this deck out. So get used to this deck, get used to the combos, get used to playing with it and against it. Let's get into some replays and we'll get into one live game. This is our first game. We're up against Now. I actually use this deck to climb to King of Games, so it is able to climb to King of Games very, very easily. So as I was climbing, my first opponent was a Yami Yugi. So Yugi, his only skill is Destiny Draw. And our opponent is playing 24 cards. So here I'm thinking we're up against a store deck, and the way he plays here, it really makes me feel like it's a store deck. So what am I trying to do? I'm trying to get access to and it pops set cards, and we popped the crystals here, so now I know it's not a store deck. Well, I don't think it is. So what we're trying to do is to pop off as many cards as we can without triggering Destiny Draw. So as you can see, I'm only attacking just enough so he doesn't trigger Destiny Draw, and then what I'm gonna try to do is just kill him for game. So here we have Double Cyclone. We're able to pause. This Aphrodite can't reduce Dryston anymore, so if you can't reduce it, you can't pop anything. So here then I used Double Cyclone to switch it to my Madrot, and so I'm able to pop it, and then I have the equip card that boosts by 1000. There's no need to keep my Dryston in attack mode. I switch it to defense, and I have enough for game. So, yeah, that was a pretty easy game. You can see that like decks that just play normally, like set and like with traps, you're able to just out resource them using all your pops every turn. If they play slow, they're gonna lose all their cards, and if they play fast, maybe they'll fall into a trap with your Double Cyclone. Now let's have a look at the next game. We're up against Maximilian Pegasus. Crowlix. Pegasus is usually just used for a restart. No one uses Mind Scan anymore. I can't remember what deck he was playing. Yeah, our opponent is playing. Oh no, that's me. Our opponent's okay, Amazons. So our opponent, Amazons is a very popular deck. You're definitely going to be versing it. And here, okay, so here I actually equip it to his monster to start popping off his back row. The reason I do this is I can actually double, if I wanted to, I could double Cyclone this to equip it to my monster, or actually I can even use my effect to pop this to equip it to one of my monsters. Okay, pause. Against Amazons, they only have a limited number of onslaughts. So if you run them out of onslaughts, they have nothing that they can do. So here, I noticed that he has nothing in the graveyard, so I just pop his Onslaught with Dryston's effect, which pops a face-up card. And then I use to pop the other card, and I can easily just attack over this. So this is quite a good play. Probably you might see people just equipping their Aphrodite to their Majorette to pop their cards, but this way you get the most damage. Actually, I don't attack. Oh, that's right. He has Super Rush, so that's why I don't attack. So he attacks into my Dryston, and because he set this, it's an Onslaught. He can only bring out Princess, but he's already used Princess. But here I'm able to re-equip to the Dryston to pop the Amazon Queen, and this allows me to not die by battle once because of the Destiny. So there's a lot of combos here, and you just outvalue Amazons. I don't actually think there's anything that Amazons can do against you. So if you open like Monster and like one or if you open like Monster and like one equip spell and like one defensive card, I think that's enough to win. So the only way for Amazons to beat you is to add these spot removal cards like Treacherous Trap Hole or Offerings to the Doomed. I think if they add that, then the matchup will be a little bit more fair, because they can chain that in response to you equipping your defensive equip card, the one that protects you from battle and destruction. So up against Chaz Princeton. If I'm playing Chaz, I think it's Stall. So there's no reason for me not to play safe against Stall. So here I'm gonna re-equip to my Dryston to pop his card. Actually, what I could have done there was just to re-equip to Majorette, reduce them even lower, but I decided to do this. Yeah, you see, like, against decks that are just traps and monsters, there's nothing that they can do, you know. He takes 18 and he leaves the game. You know, we outvalue these like normal decks very quickly, very easily. So they have to have some sort of removal for you, or oh crap, I don't want to delete that. If they don't have the removal for you, there's actually nothing that they can do. We're up against someone called Good Hand. Maybe he'll have a good hand against us. I really hope I have some Sylvan games. I play quite a lot of Sylvans, and this deck is a really good deck against Sylvans. This is that new Crystal Beast deck. Okay, so here's a cool thing. So he used Raigeki, Crystal Raigeki to destroy our card. We're gonna chain Glory of the Noble Knights to equip it with Destiny to prevent it from dying once. We're gonna reduce it before we summon the Dryston, but we're gonna give the protection to Dryston because we don't want Dryston to die. Yeah. And like, just that play alone, we plus so much. He's at 2 cards. Yeah. I got really not much to say. That's 2-8 directly, and our opponent surrenders. You guys are watching this, right? It's broken. You guys are seeing how good it is. And actually, climbing to King of Games is so easy. The only losses I had were not drawing a monster, or like getting OTK'd by Sylvans. So this is a hand that we can't keep. And we're up against Silent Swordsman. I have no idea what these guys do, but I do know it can't. It doesn't protect itself from monster effects. So I use it in their turn to pop pop his cards, and I'm just gonna attack. Like, oh man, like he's trying. This dude, he's just trying to play his game, man. And then I just OTK him. I just kill him with my new cards. Okay, let's get into a live game and see what we can do. I'll also talk through my thought process with this deck. We're up against Origin from Canada. Let's hope he has a really cool deck, because I've got a cool deck and I want to play more with it. This is probably one of the this is what I call like a average hand, or like the sort of hand you want to see. It's not like a busted hand. A busted hand would be with the quick play spell. And we're up against Gigias. Okay, this is cool, because Gigias is a meta deck. We're gonna set 2. The reason we set 2 is I don't want it to be. I want to be able to play as if I have 1 defensive club plus 1 quick play spell. So against people who know what the cards do. Yo, ties, that's pretty good. So, okay, how do we activate Treacherous Trapper? We're not going to activate it until he flips. We're going to use it to chain to hit the flip trap. So I think probably most Gigia decks now should be playing the flip you and gain life points trap. I think if you're not playing that, then it's pretty hard to beat the other decks. Alternatively, we could just do this in the end phase, but I feel like actually, let's think about it. Let's think about it. Oof. Let's think about it. Okay. Flip. Equip. Pop. Oh, pop this one. Attack this one. Oh no, equip, this pops this pops this. Okay, maybe we will just Treacherous here. I don't want to get too greedy, you feel? So he has something that's activatable. He's using Chalice. So he did have it. Summon. We're gonna put this on this one, because if this dies, this will equip to this, and then this will pop something. So yeah, it is looking pretty good. It doesn't pop again because these are once it's a once per turn effect. So I don't know, is this just the, what is this? It feels like it's just another spell absorbing life because of the delay. Okay. We're just gonna pop this one. We know that this one doesn't do anything, so we're gonna pop the other one. But maybe it's a wall of D. What is this? Okay, it doesn't matter. I was thinking to switch it to defense, but it doesn't matter here. It's better to keep it in attack. Also, it was a chalice. Cool. Okay, so we got this game. Let's go into some analysis with this deck. I want to talk about it. So there you have it, guys. That's my Noble Knights deck. You can see how easy it is to pick apart boards, and you can also. I hope you guys value Glory of the Noble Knights more. This card is absolutely crazy in this deck, especially if you already have a face-up Dryston. You're able to protect it or boost it or search out the other card that breaks apart boards. And this deck has such a easy time breaking apart boards. So if your opponent's playing a slow game, they're not going to survive against you. Yeah. Where I would place this on the tier list, I think it probably shifts up the meta quite a bit. One thing about this deck, it requires 3 main set ultra rares. So not everyone is going to have access to this, like Sylvans or even Spellbooks is quite easy to obtain, or Amazons. So it's not going to be as common as those decks, but I believe it'll probably be about as popular as SSA, the SSA deck, or maybe slightly more popular than that because it only requires 3 ultra rares. The rest of these cards are sort of like you could play any 5 sort of defensive cards and do pretty well. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me for today. And yeah, make sure you try this deck out if you have access to it. It's something that you have to learn how to play with and also against. So the best way to learn how to beat it is to play with it. So once you realize the weakness of this deck, you're able to easily combat this deck. So yep, that's it for me, and we'll catch you guys again later. Peace out, guys. See ya.